And at the end of the movie, you say to yourself, in complete seriousness, my life is changed. I am now different. I am suffused with such a sense of excitement and emotion and yet calmness and insight that I'm different. Things are different. Yes? You have all, who's hands up? Yes. And then you go home to bed and you wake up the next day and you forgot all about it. Yes? Yeah. I mean, I'm interested. What was that movie? Life of Pi. Okay. Life of Pi looked great. Yeah. Shawshank Redemption. Okay. Shawshank Redemption is a big catharsis movie. You're right. Yeah. That moment when poster, hole in the wall, brilliant. Yes. Mo. The Avengers. Yeah, catharsis of the Avengers. This is okay. Well, this is a generational thing. It's your world now. You're welcome to it. Yes. The con.
Oh, that was such a good movie.
The Call. Haven't seen it.
It's good.
Really?
Like heart attack.
Eat, Pray, Love. Okay. Which you haven't seen it. Julia, yeah. Pearl Harbor. Okay. What's yours? You want a second one? What? The Green Mile. So you're a big fan of what's his name? Same director. Yes. Inception. Inception. Don't get me started. Inception. Inception. No. Just no. It's like you can't make. Has anyone seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Write it down. Write it down now. Write it down. If it's the only thing that you take with you out of this class, write it down. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's a movie. About 1990. No, about 2000, 2002, 2003. It's a brilliant film about love, but it's also a film about dreaming. The problem for me with Inception is that you can't make a movie about dreaming that is so not inflected by the strangeness of dreaming. You know, like when you have a dream, a vivid dream, it's freaky, right? You wake up the next day and it's like, wow, I had the weirdest dream. Yes? Yeah. And you will learn as you grow older as well that those men among you, that if your wife has a freaky dream in which you're nasty, then somehow that appears to bleed over into the real world and you're responsible for it. It was just a dream. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The reason I recommend it to you is a great film for lots of reasons, but it's also a film that deals very well with the strangeness of dreaming. And we spoke about Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense has a touch of that towards the end as well, where you get a sense of what Sigmund Freud referred to as unheimlich, that sense of being unhinged when things are strange in dreams. Where are we?
In class.
We're in class, in Cornell, in Lecture Hall 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I feel better now. I almost panicked. Where are we in the lecture? I'm supposed to know that, haven't I? That's my responsibility. What were we talking about? Catharsis. Yes, catharsis movies. Aristotle said that another thing that tragedy provides is that sense of catharsis, that sense of transformation, because at one and the same time, you feel sorry for the principal character. So like in Oedipus Rex, for example, you feel sorry for Oedipus. You think, oh, what a nasty thing to happen, right? But at the same time, in equal measure, you feel relieved that it's not you. Yes? You just think, oh, that's terrible. Bye. And the sense that you take away from the experience is that you have a chance. You have a chance. Your life hasn't been inflected in this kind of way. So it's a very complicated thing. But what Aristotle proposed, and this is why he said tragedy was important, is that an audience who watches a good tragedy, well, one at the same time will focus on themselves, they'll have a sense of what they need to change. At the same time, they will understand empathy. They will develop a sense of empathy. They have the sense that when bad things happen to other people, we need to understand what they're going through in order to be able to help them. Can you see how that is important to being a doctor? Yes. It's as obvious as the nose in your face, isn't it? You have to be able to understand what people are going through. Yeah. So therefore you can see why I'm teaching literature at Cornell as a way of introducing you to the type of work that allows you to develop your empathetic sense of understanding. Yes? Very good. And drama does that, along with poetry. But before we get to poetry, I'll talk about acting very briefly. To act, which is essential to drama. Right? What does it mean to act? Hold on. Someone else. Mo has give Mo a round of applause for his terrific contribution. Someone, my friend up the back, Raunak. What? Nejra, yes. What's my name? No, I didn't ask you. Huh? Well, see. To act. Nejra. To perform. In what sense to perform? To perform. To do something. To entertain. To act. To pretend. Is there a sense in which acting is pretending? Yeah? So it's inauthentic, it's not real, it's not really you, to some extent. Give me an example of when you'd be pretending. When your friend says, do I look fat in this dress? Yeah? And you say, no. And you're pretending, because you know if you say yes, it's going to be a problem. Another example? When you pretend? That's just lying. And you say yes, and you haven't. There is a sense in which people think of acting as pretending, as though there's a real version of you, and then sometimes there's an inauthentic one, a false one, when we pretend. Huh? But here's the proposition for you. That you are, by definition, you are different sitting here now, looking at me in this lecture theatre, than you will be when you go for lunch, and you're sitting there talking to your friends. Right? You're looking at me now and you're listening to me and saying, my God, when will he stop? And then when you go for lunch, you'll be like talking to your friends and you'll be, oh, that was interesting, or it wasn't, or whatever, and you'll be just more lively. You're a different person when you are in the headmaster's office and he's explaining to you that you need to pack your bags. No, he's telling you how great it is to have you in the school because you're so wonderful. And when you're on the telephone with your best friend. You're a different person when you're around the dinner table with your family in the house and you're off dune bashing with your mates in your Land Cruiser. Right? Yes? So then the question is, which one is the real you and which ones are pretending? Or in actual fact, is it a case that they are all performances and we are in actual fact the sum total of our performances? We're acting all the time. But it doesn't mean that because we're acting all the time, some of it's true and some of it's false. It's just the way that we're obliged to act. It's the nature of living. Because another aspect of acting, to act, is to act decisively, right? To do something, not to hesitate, to go ahead and act in a way that makes a difference. And with acting, it's not one or other, right? It's not one or other. It's both. It's actually been able to juggle both of them at the same time. A sense of the necessity of performance. And believe me, when you're a doctor, if you're working in accident and emergency, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you're looking at your 50th patient of the night, and the patient's going, doctor, will I live? And you feel like saying, of course you live, it's only a broken finger. But you don't. You stop yourself and you empathize and you realize that you have to perform and that this type of performance is a pretense. For the same thing, you're acting decisively in deciding to put on this type of performance and you reassure the patient that everything will be okay. And you do a big smile on your face. And as though it's like just a real bond and they think, oh, what a nice doctor. And you know? It's because it's like, do you get the sense that I'm enthusiastic about what I'm talking about? Yes. Do you know how many times I have done this? Can you even begin to guess? Right? So to what sense is it a performance? But in what sense is it a performance? That's about acting decisively in order to make a positive difference. And that's what you need to be able to do as well as a doctor moving along. It took us 15 minutes to do drama and it gives us, what, 5 minutes to talk about poetry.